difference between a welder, fabricator, and a carpenter. Honestly, in my personal opinion, it's the tools. The tools. In welding, you need a welding machine, and being a carpenter, you need a saw, some different type of squares, framing squares, speed squares, pencils, other different things you can use, different type of saws to be able to do, the framing part. But there's basically the difference to me is the tools. A guy said, "Man, you're a welder. I didn't know you was a carpenter too." I was like, "Well, I was working with some carpenters, but I realized one fact: an eighth of an inch is an eighth of an inch if it's on metal or if it's on wood. A foot is a foot if it's on metal or wood. It's just a different tools you have to do to cut it out." And being a fabricator, you learn how to level things, square things, plumb things. So if you can plumb metal and square metal, you can most definitely do the same thing in wood. So I don't really think there is a big difference, but if you are a good skilled fabricator, you most definitely can be a skilled carpenter. You just have to have the carpentry tools. So I've been learning how to do some carpentry work like this on the side for myself, and I just had to invest in some more carpentry tools. But as far as doing the work, the line out, I already knew how to get the pop my line and get everything leveled out before I start the building. I understood this concept coming from being an iron worker also, because I've put up metal buildings and metal structures from up all the way up to a 12 story to a 22 story in Phoenix, and actually in the college in Tempe I was working on a 22-story building. That's the highest I ever been. And then I have did, single stories and two stories. So once you get the concept of how buildings go, how to put rafters in, walls up, all of that, all you do is transfer this knowledge over. So I think being a welder, can be an understatement. Now, I can see if you can only weld only. Some people only want to weld only. So when it comes to just welding only, no, a carpenter is completely different because you have to have a completely different set of skills. But if you are a welder fabricator, you know how to plumb, lay out, square, do those things. All you need to do is get some carpentry tools. Those tools will be able to help you do two jobs. So that's like killing several birds in one stone. I love to say that. But the only difference is really the tools. So it's all about the tools you have. If you have the right tools, you can transfer your fabrication and welding skills over to being a carpenter. You can be able to open up a greater demand if you like interior work and you like nice things and you've been around them. It's easy to transfer your welding skills over to interior decorating and things like that. So I just wanted to say that because a few people asked me about, man, I see you went down to your mom's house, you was working on, you did some carpentry work, that you do all it yourself. I'm like, yeah, I did it. I had a couple helpers and we did it. And I was the lead. I lined everything out, squared everything up, and we used screws, we didn't use nails. So, I learned how to do these things as a fabricator, welder, as an iron worker, once again, and I'm just transferring these skills over. So that's why I think it's important. HogOn University is important because I'm actually putting more emphasis on tradesmen, skilled tradesmen, welders, plumbers, carpenters, electricians, things of that nature, things that we actually need to build the infrastructure of America. We actually need to build homes and businesses. I'm focusing on those trades because the trades that we need to build businesses and to build commerce and to actually have homesteads, we need these carpentry and welding and plumbing and electrician skills and knowing how to do interior work. So I just wanted to do a small video and kind of talk about that some because a few people asked me about my experience on being a carpenter. I actually worked with a company out of Newport, Arkansas that did construction, and they did all type of construction. So sometimes we was welding, sometimes I was helping a guy out doing some carpentry work, doing some sheetrock, hanging some walls, building a building, and then coming back doing the electrical. You know what I'm saying? Learning that part. So I learned, some of everything. So now all I do is transfer this knowledge over to helping myself. But tools is everything. It's not about having really expensive tools, but you do have to have the right tools. So tools is everything. Tools make money. So I think invest in the right tools. Learn how to be, I say, bilingual with your skills to be able to be a welder, fabricator, and also be a carpenter. Oh, no problem. I appreciate you for checking in. I actually wanted to talk about this because I had a few people just ask me about the difference, and so I think it's real good that we can be bilingual with it, is what I'm gonna call it, to be able to be a welder and a carpenter, a plumber and electrician. I think we need to learn multiple things, and it'll also be able to help us because we'll be doing something, and you'll be happy that you got that skill set that you can actually use in another field. So I think that it's wise that we will utilize things like this because the trade field right now is in great need. A lot of people don't want to get their hands dirty. A lot of people want to do the easy work. So for a skilled tradesmen that are plumbers, electricians, welders, carpenters, different type of tradesmen, I think that is HVAC. I can't leave them out. Those are very important, and